Good morning, everyone. Professor Subra Suresh, all our wonderful friends who are present here today. We are in the midst of just a few hours from Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's visit to Singapore. So you can imagine where one's mind is always in such a situation. But it's a real pleasure to be back here in Marina Bay Sands Convention Center for the second edition of InSpreneur, the India-Singapore Entrepreneurship Bridge. It's a pleasure because every time I interact with people or in a situation setting like this, there's just so many ideas, so much enthusiasm, energy, sparks of innovation that it is really an uplifting experience. And as we saw during InSpreneur 1.0, where of course the turnout was much larger, I suspect most people are conserving their energy today for the evening when Prime Minister will be here in this venue. But I look back just 5 months ago, and it's hard to imagine that we are back here 5 months later. And in a sense, it has really become now a standing platform. 700 people registered for this event within a week of us opening for it, and it was in many ways unsolicited or unadvertised event. But nevertheless, and it just shows many things. It shows, for example, that there is a great deal of interest, commitment, capability, as well as a fertile ground that can really nurture India-Singapore partnership in the realm of innovation. And it's a great ecosystem as well. There's a great deal of complementarity too, in terms of resources and scale, and in terms of what I also believe to be Singapore's penchant for great efficiency and India's instinct for innovation. And the two can really combine to make a big difference. Since I've come here and in the course of the past 1 year, the idea of technology, innovation, enterprise has really come to the top of the agenda of India-Singapore partnership. We really have a very comprehensive economic partnership that covers almost every field of economic endeavor. But this one is really emerging as the new exciting avenue, and just as well, for the reasons that I've just stated in terms of capacity, capabilities, commitment, and opportunities and the ecosystem that we have. But also because I think we are really at a stage where we are at that defining moment in history when we are leaving the industrial age and entering the information age. And from the time we started computing to internet, then to the IT services, to the age of social media, and now to the emerging technologies of blockchain and artificial intelligence, data analytics, big data, robotics, machine learning, all of that is a long journey in a very, very short span of time. Rarely has human history ever seen such a wide sweep of change in such a short period of time. And it's changing everything, not just the apps that we have, but what we produce, how we produce them, what services we give, how we deliver those services, the way we live, the way we communicate, entertain ourselves. From asset-owned lives, we are moving to sharing and user-based life. And it's also changing the power structures in the world. It's going to make a difference to competitiveness, prosperity. It is going to make a difference to power and exercise of force as well. We have seen that in the last industrial revolution, the eclipse of Asia and the rise of Europe. And this is once again that moment in history where we are seeing that transition. And it is important for us to seize this opportunity and take that leadership. But the age of disruption is also an age of opportunities. We are now in a position to solve what seemed intractable problems of the past. We can deliver things on a scale and at a speed that was unimaginable about just 5 years ago. And this digital revolution is now sweeping through India in a big way. You've heard me speak about it on a number of occasions. But it's changing everything. It's changing governance, it's changing the way we deliver service, it's changing direct transfer of benefits. It's empowering the weak, mainstreaming the marginalized, connecting the remotest and parts of the country. It's providing banking, insurance, health, education within the reach of all. It's changing the lives of women in rural areas. But it is also, so you have a country which has 1 billion UID, identity, 1 billion bank accounts, and 1 billion telephones. But it's not just this kind of a network. Imagine that in the course of just 3 years, we've opened 310 million bank accounts, which has now seen $30 billion of government benefits transferred into them. 99% of Indians now have a bank account. That's the universalization of development that technology has empowered. But it is also changing the landscape of startups in India. It's a nation where people are no longer aspiring to have jobs. It was a time when if you went in to try and do something on your own instead of getting a good job at a multinational, you were considered to have been a failure, and that was an excuse for not getting a good job. It's no longer the case. Across rural India, across big cities, that's what's changing in the country. And the government is working to create that kind of an ecosystem. We are talking about broadband network connecting 250,000 village councils. We are talking about funding for startups, liberal tax regimes, states doing what center is doing too, creating incubators, creating accelerators, creating funds, mentoring systems that is enabling people even in small towns and villages to aspire to do what those living in Mumbai and Delhi and Chennai think they can do, or those living in Seattle and Singapore. And that's harnessing the power of India's demographic dividend. The 800 million people who are under the age of 35, dreaming big, willing to do something about it, and now in a position to change this. And at the heart of this is also this great mission of which you will hear a lot about today, Atal Innovation Mission, which is driving a culture of innovation, not just creating infrastructure. So when you have 5,000 Atal tinkering labs in schools where children, particularly from the disadvantaged sections of society, can work with the most advanced technology, 3D printing, robotics, you are transforming not just a life, but a whole community, a whole village, a whole city. And one of those products of that tinkering lab will be exhibiting their creation to the prime ministers of the two countries today. They are creating 100 incubation centers across the entire country. So today we have really mapped out across, in a short span of 2 years, literally, the entire country. 600 odd districts out of 715 districts have now tinkering labs. And I encourage all of you, and you'll hear it from my colleagues there, when you go to India, go visit those labs, because they will benefit from you, you will be inspired from them. So when we think of the future of India and Singapore, we think of a future where we can use the power of technology, the power of innovation, the extraordinary pool of talent in both countries, the immense scale that we have to go global using India as the platform to forge a truly great partnership for this era. And this is the defining principle, the defining objective of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's visit to Singapore this time. Apart from this event, as you know, he will see an exhibition of 30 outstanding innovations from India and Singapore. And you will also see that during the course of the evening, there'll be a lot of new innovation launches, from Innovation Hub to the launch of India's digital products like RuPay, Beam, and a first UPI-based, Unified Payment Interface-based cross-border remittance app in the world. That is the internationalization of digital India. You will also see a number of other initiatives tomorrow. The setting up of the joint working group on fintech. But tomorrow afternoon, Prime Minister will also be visiting Nanyang Technological University, one of the world's leading universities, the frontier of technology, the best of the best in artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies, where you will see the signing of about 8 outstanding agreements that will bring the best of our minds together into more than just innovation, into a real strategic collaboration for defining the technological path of the future, from joint PhDs to space technology to artificial intelligence. And this is where you will seed the future of this partnership. in universities, in laboratories, in schools. And we look forward to this visit as being another defining moment when we will take this relationship to a new level, consistent with the aspiration of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, to use the power of technology to transform India, consistent with the vision enshrined in the report of the Committee of the Future Economy of Singapore, which talks of Singapore's leap into the digital era to retain its competitive edge. So today, we are again in InSpreneur 2.0. We have great speakers. And all of this wouldn't have been possible without the extraordinary support we have received from a number of agencies. If I miss anyone in listing them, please, I seek your indulgence, but certainly Enterprise Singapore, Singapore Manufacturing Federation, SG Innovate, and from our side, certainly the IIT Alumni Association, the IIM Alumni Association. I never say IIM first because then I would be guilty of being preferential to my own alumni association, the Thai Singapore, CII, and FICCI. And we have here, of course, the Secretary General of the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dilip Chanoy, also here with us. And not last not the least, the most important partner in this venture, the Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog. They have all been great support in this. We also want to thank Singex. Singex has done an outstanding job in putting up a wonderful venue for the exhibition. So thank you all very much. Look forward to a great day and a great evening ahead today. See you all later in the evening as well. And now we look forward to Professor Subra Suresh speaking. Thank you very much.